Pearlstone is 180 acres of rolling meadows, farms, streams, hillsides, anchored by a conference and retreat center in Reisterstown, Maryland.
Our vision was for the Pearlstone Campus for Living Judaism to impact tens of thousands of people every year across demographics, all ages. We dreamt of a natural, beautiful mikveh that we could create here for sacred ritual practice.
We truly believe our core values of connecting people to land and earth.
Pearlstone's also part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. A watershed is a large geographic area that includes farms and houses and businesses that when the water or the snow melt percolates into the ground, it all goes to one receiving body of water. While Pearlstone is 180 acres, the Chesapeake Bay watershed is over 64,000 square miles. That means we're just a drop in the bucket of water of the Chesapeake Bay watershed.
In Jewish tradition, we are in deep relationship with Mayim Chaim, living waters. What does that idea mean?
The way that water is moving is often very subtle and quiet. So it falls as rain and it lands on our highest hills, gradually works its way into the soil and through the bodies of the trees and the animals and the fungi and the insects in the soil. Slowly gets into the water table, trickles out of a spring on the hillside or into the stream valley itself. And for all of that time, its movement is very hidden, but it's so fundamental to the life of everything that it's touching.
Judaism is, at its core, environmental. There's really no way to live Judaism completely divorced from the natural foundation of this earth.
Long before Pearlstone began stewarding this land, it was lived on and sacredly kept by the Susquehanna and Piscataway indigenous groups. It is so important for us to honor those who came before us, acknowledge the grievous history of colonization, and ceaselessly advocate for their justice and equal treatment.
What would it mean for us to invest in our local waterways, for them to be alive, teeming with life?
Tikkun Olam, or repairing the world, is one of the ways we are honoring our Jewish roots with loving warmth.
We created an ecological master plan that imagined and prioritized ecosystem restoration of all kinds across this campus.
So for the better part of a year with our board and all of our stakeholders in the community, we looked at what does this land look like for the next generation.
This work here, in my mind, it's a perfect example of what EcoTone is about. We're doing less is more. We use nature to restore nature.
Stormwater is something we deal with no matter where we are. And wherever we are, we're in a watershed. At EcoTone, we think about stormwater holistically. Stormwater hits the ground, and we hope that it infiltrates back into groundwater and slowly work its way into a stream and down to a river and eventually into our Chesapeake Bay.
You can think of the soil as just a big filtration system. You want it to soak up the rain, soak up the water. You'll get filtration of sediment and nutrients, and you also are minimizing erosion. When it's not moving in channelized areas, and you get infiltration, that's the best thing.
Some of the best stormwater management that we can have is right behind me here, like a meadow that's not mowed, letting nature sort of deal with that stormwater the way it knows how to. When I look at a project that we've finished recently, it still has some newness to it. I like to think about what it's going to look like 3 years from now. All that wood that we're leaving in the floodplain, to many it looks rough, it looks messy. Messy is good, rough is good, ugly is good in our world of ecological restoration. It creates all these little micro habitats where you go from dry to wet. That's a transition area called an EcoTone. And that's where you have the most diversity, and that's where you have the most ecological function.
One of the things that's so exciting about the stream restoration work that we're doing here at Pearlstone is that as we've been restoring the health of the stream valley, we've also been able to create a few places where people can come in and submerge. And in the Jewish tradition, these are called mikvahs, and they're used in a ritual way as a holy way to immerse in living water.
We learn all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from where the rivers come, there they return. The water cycle is holy. It's our sacred opportunity, our holy work, our service, as Jews, as Americans, as human beings on planet Earth, to steward this holy cycle.
We can see through our stream restoration journey the beauty and awe of transforming an eroded landscape into a lush palace. We believe that the way we care for Mother Earth reflects how we care for our generations.
We invite communities across the Chesapeake Bay watershed, across the country, to go out and fall in love with your creek, your stream.
To explore the waterways in your community and understand where they flow.
To learn from the earth and from each other and about yourself.
To discover those Mayim Chaim, those holy living waters, and to be in deep relationship with creation, with restoration, with the balance we all so sorely need.
Spend time in or near a stream or river. Observe the wildlife and vegetation. Start where you are and follow the rain during a storm and see where it goes. You can also use your voice to uplift the advocacy agenda of the Chesapeake Bay.